Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and this is intended to be a video response to my good friend on YouTube, Joe TJ Pyramid, who had posted 2 videos as a video response to another channel on YouTube, talking about 5 TV shows and 10 films for 30 years. What does that mean? Well, essentially, if you were going to be whisked off to a magical land or off to the moon for 30 years' time, starting tomorrow, what are the essentials? What are the top 5 TV series and top 10 movies you feel like you couldn't get through those 30 years without taking with you or having on hand wherever you end up? And so I've loosely compiled my top 5 TV show choices, top 10 movie choices, and I'll reserve the judgment for, if this ever were to actually happen, perchance maybe change the list at some point in the future, because of course I'm like that whenever I make a top 10 list or a top 20 list or what have you. Chances are I will have a shift in mood, and maybe my interests will lie elsewhere, and I'll do everything from shifting the level of importance of the movies I've listed around to completely erasing some and adding others and that kind of thing. But in any case, I'll be starting by taking a look at the 5 TV shows I would love to have and feel are essential to me, and meeting the criteria of Joe's video. I'm kind of taking it for granted on the first one I'm going to be mentioning, the first 2 that I'm going to be mentioning, that when I say Star Trek for the first choice, that will encompass the entirety of all 5 Star Trek series in complete season forms. That is to say Star Trek, the original series, The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and Enterprise. Barring that, if that's not how it's going to work, that kind of thing, I'd probably stick with the original series. I do own all 3 of the original series seasons in their HD upgraded effects format on DVD, and that would definitely be essential to me. If it is, flexible to the point where I say Star Trek and it includes all of those series, well, there's a lot of episodes I've not seen between Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager, so I'd have a lot of catching up to do while I'm still holding these series as essentially. Wow, say that 3 times fast. In any case, my second choice would be, of course, Doctor Who. And once again, I'm kind of taking it for granted that this would include every single episode, every single season from the beginning of the show in 1963 up until the time of the Doctor, which was the last, recent episode as of the time of this recording that aired. And otherwise, if I had to actually pick, I would probably go with something like maybe the modern series, Season 1 with Christopher Eccleston's Ninth Doctor, as that one had the most emotional impact for me, being kind of the first, real introduction to Doctor Who that I had consciously in my life. Even though I did grow up with it loosely, this was the first time I chose to watch it, and I really got into it. So, kind of nostalgic, wanting to hold on to that. After that, my third choice would probably be the TV series MASH. I've grown up with this show, and while I don't own any of it with the exception of the finale, the series finale, Goodbye, Farewell, and Amen, this was a show that, I have actually 2 VHS tapes full of episodes that my father had recorded because he was very much into the show, and when it was coming to the end and everything like that back in the early 80s, I believe it was, or mid-80s at least, this was just something. It's a hysterically funny show. I love the rapport between the characters, even though some of the characters end up not basically surviving the entirety of the series. Some leave, some new ones come in and everything like that. And this is a show that just has presented every conceivable kind of situation or story and has been absolutely hilarious, absolutely heartbreakingly emotional. It just has a little bit of everything, and it would be hours upon hours upon hours of just fantastic television viewing. For my last 2, I'm going with 2 anime selections, those being Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex and Cowboy Bebop. And that is because these are really the first 2 most influential anime series for me that got me into the genre, that, no matter how poor I've been, if I've had to sell off DVDs and such like that, I always tried to find a way to hold on to these no matter what. Same thing with, Doctor Who for the most part, which I did actually have to eventually cave and get rid of, but I did get all the modern seasons back of that finally. And these are the 2 most influential, as I say, anime series. Ghost in the Shell has a great band of characters. There's lots of mystery. There's governmental intrigue, espionage, super uber technical hacking and computer programming stuff. And I mean, it's just got things on every geeky level, very adult sort of storytelling and stuff like that, very mature, I should say. And same with Cowboy Bebop. It has that, side of it, but it's also wacky and it's also fantastically funny. It can be very strongly emotional, and the characters in Bebop are just freaking badass, so those are my top 5 choices for TV series. Stay tuned for part 2 of this video, and I will be talking about my top 10 picks for movies for 30 years. Stay tuned, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.